Yeah, this is another episode of The Round Circle with your host, the Fifth General, Zaccheus and Cinemascapes. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's good? It's good to be here.
All right, we have a very exciting show today. We wanted to get back to some hip-hop talk. So, there's been a lot of talk going on as far as who's the best, who's their best, and stuff like that. A lot of lists, what's going on in the hip-hop community. So we wanted to, put our bid in on who we feel is our best. You know what I'm saying? Our favorites, This criteria, we're basing it off of who we listen to, who we like, who we admire, but who we listen to. Not so much of who we think is the best historically, because that would be a different list, because that list would be based off body of work, but also paying homage. Okay? So that's not what this list is about. This is a list of who is our best, who we like, who we favor, who we listen to on a yearly basis. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Today, we're going to start it off with our top 10 rap groups. Each of us have our own list. We're also going to do our top favorite rappers, top 10, and then we're also going to do our top 5 favorite hip-hop producers, okay? So we're going to start it off like this. If you don't mind, Cinema, can you go first? I'll go second, and I'll let Zaccheus go after me, starting with the top 10 rap groups.
Okay.
10 to 1. Go ahead.
Yeah, number 10, rap group, Brand Nubian.
Yeah.
Number 9, Leaders of the New School. Number 8, The Fugees. Number 7, Wu-Tang Clan.
Yep.
Number 6, Outkast. Number 5, Naughty by Nature.
Okay.
Number 4, EPMD. Number 3, The Roots.
Yep.
Number 2, A Tribe Called Quest. And my number 1, if y'all really know me, ain't no surprise, De La Soul.
Okay. All right. Now, unpack it. Starting with number 10.
Brand Nubian. Punks jump up to get beat down.
They get nothing but a beat.
Slow down. Yeah, slow down. Even after Poopa left, they were still dropping fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Diamond D on production. Oh my God. And a lot of people, that remix with the train horn, the subway horn. It's just,
yeah.
It's before a lot of people's time now. I hate to have to say that. But, when that was out, that was very influential for me because they picked their own niche where they put some hardcore with some
sunshine
rap, where it was more of a balance. Where most of the groups ended up being one category.
And that one joint, sunshine. Yo.
Yeah. Oh, my
God.
yeah.
My life. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I'll go back, Leaders of the New School.
All right. LOS.
Oh, my God.
LONS.
Oh, gosh. I woke up in the midst of a hot album with classic material. What's next?
Yeah.
That was the second album, but the PTA, that first album was a classic.
Yeah.
And then What's Next was ridiculous. And, the thing that happened with Brown on MTV was, if you want to know about that, watch Busta Rhymes Behind the Music. Great.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Brown gonna do what Brown
Oh, yeah. Charlie Brown.
That broke my heart, that group breaking up.
Yeah, because there was a lot of potential.
Oh, my God. And then that second album was just ridiculous. Yeah. And then it's blowing up, and then the group breaks up. And then
you know what really, when I think about Leaders of the New School, I just think about Dingo D going back to work and Charlie Brown going back to work. I mean, it's sad because them two guys had the characters and the voice, and they stood out just like Busta Rhymes stood out the most. But
right, but when you're in a group,
Charlie Brown, man, I mean, my gosh, he had the Dingo D too. They had the character, you know.
But when you're in a group, you need to ride the standout and not be jealous. But that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
If you come out as a group, if you break up, usually when a group breaks up, maybe one or two of them may be able to make them solo. Because number one, you got to do something that makes them forget you're in a group.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay, let me continue.
All right, go ahead.
We don't eat up time.
Yeah, no problem.
Next one, the Fugees, but valid points.
Ooh, la, la, la.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I had the first Fugees album before the Nappy Heads remix was on it.
Yeah.
Before people even knew the time.
Right. Amor de Lisa.
We're talking about two classic albums. I mean, if you haven't heard Living Like There Ain't No Tomorrow, but you might say, oh, it's not super lyrical. But whatever. That song, the vibe on that song is just, Wyclef kills that song. Vocab, original version with just the guitar, not the remix. The original version of Nappy Heads is a hardcore track, and it's hot too.
Yeah.
And then, boom, baf, another sound for the. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That first album changed my life.
Yeah.
Because me being a musical person and a musician, it kind of gave me something more than what I was doing. Because I was trying to be a lot of things. I was trying to be Pete Rock only.
Right.
But while I was searching to find my voice as a producer and as a musician. Okay. Then, number 7, hate to have to put him this low, but this is preference in how I listen, but I do listen to him. Being from Staten Island, Wu-Tang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, man. Like, you know, you go ahead. I don't want to interrupt because I got my Wu-Tang talk, but you go ahead. I'm sorry.
But you're from Staten Island.
Yeah.
Especially my church was in Park Hill. I was born in Park Hill. My birth certificate has a Park Hill address on it. So
mine too.
I ain't perpetrating. 141 apartment 5S.
Yeah.
If you're living in now, hope y'all keeping it good. But you know,
yeah, man.
If you lived on Staten Island, because we had that first album before it came out commercially, because they sold it themselves. So we had already been playing that album for a while. So, but then we were happy because the first video is from the video, you know, the Protect Your Neck video, was the video they made, and they just didn't film a new one because even the label liked it. It was just a breath of fresh air, and we know what that spawned so much.
Yeah, there wasn't a real budget to that video, so they had to make it up for Cream and Ain't Nothing to F with, you know.
Right, but because the label, when the label picked them up, decided not to do a new video. They're like, we have a video. This is so hot. We need to go with what we got.
Right.
And everyone felt it. Right. And then you saw the money come behind for the rest of the stuff. So Staten Island, Wu-Tang, synonymous, plus classic albums, a new style of sampling that all of us from Staten Island use, even if we don't use it completely like him. Like if you hear my album, I'm not plugging, but if you hear Don't Believe It, Don't Believe It, Don't Believe It, the sped up sample, I know, you know, but not just the sped up sample because it was used, but the techniques of the sped up sample.
Right.
That's the sound we are in I tell you, anybody who produces from Staten Island knows how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why that's none of y'all business. And so then above them, I got Outkast. Because Outkast musically, Outkast from the South, oh my goodness. Southern playalistic. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then not
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Right.
Sorry, Miss Jackson. I love Sorry, Miss Jackson.
The evolution. The brothers made 2 solo albums and released it as a group. 2 fire solo albums. Whatever they did musically, hot. Fire. I mean, innovative.
I still love that song.
Over bad that I thought I would never like a song with a beat like that. I heard Bombs Over Baghdad.
I still love Roses. I still love that song.
Yes,
Roses.
exactly.
I love that song from them.
I could go for days mentioning songs because if I mention it, you'll start singing it. Right. That and then Prototype.
Oh my God. Exactly. Yo, I like the very first. What was the very first song? You gotta get up, get out, and get something.
Get something. Yes.
That joint is fire, man. Exactly. That joint is fire,
but
man.
But that's what I'm saying. Consistency. Mm-hmm. See, this is preference. See, a lot of people disrespected them when they came out, and so if we were doing it all time, we won't talk about it. Yeah. Let's go up to 5. Naughty by Nature.
I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. And let me say something real quick. You gotta roll. I think that Tretch and Vinny don't get the props that they deserve as MCs and lyricists because they're both that. Right. And I find it disrespectful. And I sometimes think it's because they're from Jersey.
Yeah, but
that's another conversation. Go ahead, son.
That's another conversation because what's going on back there.
Yeah.
Basically, they bought the block they lived on. They're producing jobs, and they're still active.
Brick City, New Jersey.
Brick City,
They're still active in their community.
Yeah.
To this day.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
They bought their block when they got that money. Yeah. They literally bought that block.
And Queen Latifah got plans.
Yeah.
She's working on too. So,
They always go back to their community and help their community.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, man.
And they made the transition to the other side of the business.
Yeah.
And that's a nice conversation for another day.
Right.
For MCs who give back.
Right.
Naughty, their catalog, OPP.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Man. I mean,
that put them on the map. But consistently, albums.
Uptown.
Yeah.
Uptown.
Oh, I love that joint. I love that. I used to love that joint.
Anthems. I mean, not only did they make hip hop hits, they made hip hop anthems.
Yes. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. Hip Hop Array. They were like one of the first, like some of the early one of the earliest rap groups to actually, like you say, be known for doing hip hop anthems. So I like that. I like that you got them on your list because I like that. I love them. I love Naughty.
Like groups like M.O.P. picked that up.
Oh yeah, M.O.P. Oh man,
the influence is there. Yeah, the influence is there.
Yeah, all right, but in their own style. Okay, number 4, E11.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you know what?
Hold on. Cinema. Take your time with that one.
You're talking about Eric and Parrish. Both of them beat makers. Both of them lyricists. Not only, oh my gosh.
The chemistry.
I listened to Eric Sermon, the headbanger.
Oh.
If you didn't, if you don't know anything about King Soul, they're one of Redman's best verses. To where even in his own hooks, he's taken parts of that verse and made it hooks for other songs. Because I never checked with the verse and the blood of my wet. And what you see, get your kicked.
And a lot of people don't, and a lot of people who never listened to Headbangers ever don't know that beat is the reason why years later Rough Riders got the Rough Riders anthem. It's the same one. A lot of people don't know that. Yep.
Exactly. And it was a homage.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Because that, that elevated ciphers to the ridiculous.
Yeah.
We talking about, keep the crossover.
Oh yeah.
Crossover.
I remember that joint. Yes, man.
Okay. The funk era of hip hop began with EPMD.
Yes.
Dynamic Twins, Christian rap group, said that Let's Get Up, Let's Get Down for their hook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a lot of people,
Yeah.
not only their cypher joints, but them. Oh my gosh. What's the song with LL? Boom. Slow down, baby.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, I'm mad I can't remember the name. All of this is on my playlist. I don't even look at the names of it. It's just like,
Yeah.
You and your squad better praise the real God. Classic.
Yeah.
Classics.
Not only as a group, but whenever anybody came with them, it made them bring their top game because their beats are ridiculous. Both of them great producers. They broke up, got together, got back together, but cool business, never personal. Understand that. But one of my favorites. And I got them high because I think they don't get the respect they deserve. Not only as pioneers, beat making, a lot of my beat making stuff. That's why when you gave me the Genesis fifth, that kind of had an EPMD type feel for me to rap on. And I'm not talking about the sample, but just like the it just took me back to that. And it's like, okay, I gotta come. Like,
wow.
Gosh, dang. See, I didn't even think about that for my producers, but never mind. We won't even go there. I'm going to number 3.
Okay.
And you know why.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this too.
Yes.
The Roots.
The Roots.
Oh my God.
Philly.
Okay,
yeah.
let's just say this.
Mm-hmm.
Do You Want More was not my first exposure to the Roots.
Okay.
I had Organics. Somebody stole it from me.
Oh.
You can get it now. Thank goodness. But the Roots' real first album, that's why the numbers were already high on it, because it's just like the next song.
Yeah.
I always like that thing. But the Roots, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The Concerto of the Desperado. Black Thought, one of the nastiest lyrics.
Oh, heck yeah.
Honorable mention for Malik B, even though he ain't part of the group.
Yeah.
That's a group for consistency. That's a group that can reinvent themselves. That's a group that just rocks a show. You go see the Roots from back then to now. They're
the only group to play with a band. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we could probably say they're the best hip hop band at this point.
Yeah.
Because there's not many. Yeah. And you wouldn't be wrong for saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
So these dudes are the house band for the Tonight Show and played with Christopher Cross, legends come through there and like, okay, I'll have the Roots back me up.
Yeah.
When Ice Cube did the Chappelle show and had the Roots play his songs, he was like, dang! That's what the clip was on IG. Because they're that tight. They play your material that tight. And it sounds so much like your track. You're like, dang. And who they're comprised of now is even more ridiculous when they first started. But, the original bass player is not with them no more because he was an old jazz head, You get after a certain age, can't be touring like they tour. They tour hard.
Right.
And when they're not working at 30 Rock, they're touring hard. You can see it. Okay.
Wow.
Let's go to number 2.
Yes.
A Tribe Called
Quest.
I like this one. This one.
Okay. We know Low End Theory, Love Movement. My personal favorite album A to Z is Midnight Marauders.
Yes.
Because, gosh, from beginning to end, the War Tour, Electric Relaxation, Sucker N-Word.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
If you haven't heard the last track, God Lives Through, you need to go listen to the. I mean, I understand.
It's a classic album
and everything on Low End Theory. I ain't disrespecting that album. But Midnight Marauders is where I believe Fife came into his own.
Well,
because Fife it wasn't bad on the first album. He was hot, but I mean, when it was just Q-Tip and Fife on that album, the back and forth, the quality of verses with the quality of beats, because Tribe always has quality of beats and verses, are like, because
man, I still remember.
I can't even diss Can I Kick It, because that's my joint.
That's my joint, man.
Yeah, Can I Kick It? Yeah,
I know why everybody Low End Theory. I understand.
Low End Theory is a popular opinion because of what was on there.
Right.
But we have, thank you. That's the number one record that we refer to because it's one of their best records of all time. Fantastic record, obviously.
Yeah.
But it takes a real purist to look at Midnight Marauders and say, yo, this album is crazy from start to finish.
I mean, no skips.
Yeah.
That's like my next group's album. We'll mention that when they come up.
Yep.
Okay, let's just talk about Midnight Marauders, because Hot 97 had stopped playing hip hop for a little while. Y'all in New York remember that, right?
Mm.
Oh.
Then Midnight Marauders comes out, and then we're back on.
Yeah.
Midnight Marauders saved hip hop in New York, whether people know it or not understand it. We who lived in New York, when your perennial hip hop station stops playing hip hop music and you're playing more R&B and stuff, and it's just like the old hip hop stuff, and then the album drops, and then all of a sudden hip hop is back over the airwaves heavy like it should be. I think that album should get some credit.
Well,
we know the other album that dropped that year too.
Yeah.
Wahoo, Wu-Tang,
yeah,
and Tribe saved hip hop.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I was gonna say it.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that because that is a East Coast. Okay, let's be specific. It's not so much that they didn't play rap per se. It was the rap that was being played was West Coast, because remember the West Coast took over. Respect to them, they did. But East Coast hip hop was brought back that year with the combination of East Coast MCs. You got Tribe, you got Wu-Tang, you got Onyx.
Right.
So you had
exactly that year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the respect to West Coast,
right?
It wasn't even in high rotation. It was just a song here or there.
Right. It would be right.
We're talking about New York radio. I don't know what happened in your neck of the woods. Please
right. Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about it back in New York, man. Because we talking about in New York. You know.
early 90s. Yeah.
Glad you mentioned Onyx too, because I almost forgot that.
Right.
Onyx, Tribe, and Wu, and then after that, everyone started bringing it.
Right.
And then it was a resurgence, and it was good.
Right.
And also this other group, which is my number one.
All right.
I wanted to mention that.
Let's talk about
number
this.
Number one is De La
Soul.
And some of you can't even hear them because their catalog's not on. It's about to come on, and they're not going to make money. Well, in my Apple Music, they're not going to make money because I own all the albums, and it's already in my personal cloud. So to duplicate it, so it won't count as streams for me. Because nobody ain't making money off of De La. De La ain't making money off of De La. I'm sorry. But I know y'all going to listen to it because y'all haven't. This is a catalog that has not been available. It hasn't been available for some time. Their new stuff is because they own it. But the Tommy Boy stuff, Tommy Hill, Comedy and all that, Tommy, Tommy ain't my boy. So basically, I heard it was coming. I'm like, okay, let me pull out my old computer and get where I ripped all my CDs and put this in my Apple Cloud so it doesn't count. So to count as something I own and not stream. Yes, I'm that deliberate when it comes to the people I love. I listen to De La Soul. Gosh, my favorite album was Stakes is High. And so you have
the Stakes is High.
That album, that came out right after these albums we just mentioned. That was the backup with Maury, because remember they had lost their contract And Tommy Boy was actually looking for somebody else, and they saw De La Soul ripping a show with the Stakes is High material and signed them again for that and Bionics, which stemmed off of this era of Tribe and Wu and Onyx and the resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
It got people like them getting signed again because they were looking for real pure hip hop again.
Mm-hmm.
So it got De La a deal. And then I got introduced to Dilla, Jay Dilla, who was JD, with the production on that Stakes is High album. Yeah. My gosh. Yeah. In fact, me and Fifth, I knew him as JD, and Fifth knew him as Dilla, and we didn't even know we were talking about the same person. That's how that's how ridiculous Dilla is.
Yeah.
So even before them, Prince Paul, 3, the magic number. That's oh my god.
Oh yeah, okay.
The original plug tuning, because it was like Daisy. The first album was like the Daisy Age, and people did some. Then they did De La Soul is Dead.
De La Soul is Dead. I remember that album. Yes, I remember that.
Let's just talk about this. I listened to De La albums like beginning to end. We used to have the Sega Genesis, and we just have the multiple CDs just playing De La in the Bronx with my cousins and stuff. With other things.
Yes.
And so, a lot of Coogee rap. My cousin loves Coogee rap. And so, we're talking, when I was picking, I'm also saying the criteria for my groups. Right. I was picking the top 10. I'm picking people I just put on, and I don't really worry about too much.
With no thought.
Yeah. Like De La, Tribe, Roots, EPMD. This is music. Like if you hear me driving by you in my car with my playlist I share on Apple Music, you'll hear these artists coming out of my car on the regular. This is, so like he's, but you'll hear De La all the time, and people always, still to this day, people ask me, what's that? Because they're not available on the stream yet. They're about to be, but they're not going to make any profit on it. They couldn't come to, agreement with Tommy Boy. And we know why, because labels ain't trying to come to agreement. They're just trying to make money. And there's really nothing De La could do that was like a olive branch to them, but it's, it's fat.
Oh, that's just crazy, man.
Your legacy, your music, and you ain't going to make a dime off of it.
That's crazy.
Oh, and Tommy Boy hadn't been clearing samples over the years. So that's still something that has to be dealt with. Okay, and people still want to sign. Okay, so that's my top 10 groups. We're going to go on the 5th.
Okay.
And, we might unpack a little later, at the closing.
Right.
We're going to unpack some more thoughts, but we're going to just keep moving through here because we still got MCs and producers.
We still got, exactly. So check this out. I'm going to read my top 10. Yeah. Top 10. My top 10 favorite rap groups. This was a tough one. From 10 to 5 was tough. Well, from 10 to 6. Number 10, I got M.O.P.
Ooh, yeah.
Number 9, Capone and Noriega.
Wow.
Ooh.
8, The Locks.
Yeah, respect.
7, The Fugees. 6, Onyx.
Yeah.
Let the boys be boys. Number 5. I'm not gonna hear too many people say this unless you like a deep in tune with hip hop, or at least from my region. Number 5, Killer Army.
Killer Army. Yes.
And I'll explain that when I get back to that. Number 4, Outkast. Number 3, Tribe Called Quest. Number 2, who I dearly love, rest in peace, Prodigy, Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep, yeah.
Number 1, Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, ODB. Okay. Now, let me go to number 10.
Oh yeah.
M.O.P. There's an energy that they have. You know, ever since I heard How About Some Hardcore, they had me.
Yo. Yeah, I mean,
You know, how
right
about some hardcore first? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, with that.
How about some hardcore? Yeah.
How about some hardcore? Yeah, we like it raw. You know what I'm saying? That energy.
The energy. That
you know,
energy. Yeah.
Fall on Blaze with Jay-Z. Dope record. With the Rocky joint. You know that. You know
that first album was ridiculous.
Yo,
it's what made my list so hard because it's like,
I know it's a tough one,
hard.
and you know
because we only got 10.
Exactly. You know, Annie Up. Everybody loves Annie Up. You know, that's
of course.
That's
I got that.
Yeah,
I got that and the remix on my playlist.
Yo,
exactly.
That get people jumping. Everywhere I go.
Yeah.
that people jumping. Annie Up.
You know,
that song got
Annie
people
Up
jumping everywhere. I don't care if you don't even like so much hip hop. That song got you jumping.
Well, see that
anthems.
That album, because that was on I think the Warriors album, and that album had Cold as Ice. You know Home Sweet Home with Lord Have Mercy. I mean that.
Right. They came like naughty with anthems.
It's
anthem after anthem after anthem. It ain't nothing weak.
It's undeniable, man. You know, from and they've been very consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because they've always had dope records throughout their career. So, and you know, like I said, this is just a energy that they have. You know, this is why I love to hear them do records with with people like, I always wanted M.O.P. and Onyx and Busta Rhymes to all go on tour because they're all grimy rappers.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
It just fits so well. All right, I got to move on because I see we're kind of getting short on time. Number 9, Capone and Noriega. Okay. They almost didn't make this list. They almost didn't. But I'm going to tell you why they did. They made this list based off their first album, The War Report. Oh, my God. The War Report is a classic, not just in my opinion, but it is a classic hip-hop album. The Source, Vibe, and many other publications at that time agreed that this was a classic album, and an album that came out of nowhere. Let's keep it real. These guys came out of nowhere and killed it. And if they never, this album was so good that any other thing they've done after this maybe hasn't been as good as that, but this album will always be recognized. And because of that, they always get top respect of being one of the best duos in hip hop.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, but the mandatory, time away that
that Capone,
neither one could help. It just
that has a lot to do with their career.
When they came back, that album after wasn't like everybody said. That album was quality. It's just
it had stuff,
they lost momentum.
They did, and it's a shame. But I want to give Nori his respect because Nori was able to
them alive
break up, because
on everything,
because he had a successful solo career.
Right.
And I want to acknowledge him. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing very well now with the Drink Champs podcast. Doing very well. So let me move on to the locks. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Yes.
What are locks?
Now,
unpack.
Now, there are not too many rap groups where you can say they're one of them, but there are not too many rap groups where you can say every member held their own. Every member had their own style. And every member delivered. Every member. As a group and by themselves.
Yep.
I have another discussion about another group but I have to get to that later. Because that's going to take me more time. So, their first album, although they was with Diddy, but they still had, they They still had some joints on that album. That was still. I mean, I could listen to that. Although I will say, and everybody will agree with this. Once they got Rough Riders, that's when their career really. There was a certain respect. They had respect. They had respect in the beginning. You know, especially the joints that they did, that the street records that was good, and the work that they did with Biggie,
right?
All good. The stuff that they did with Mace,
right? They had to find a label.
Right? They had to find a label that could cater to their style and their sound, and they found out with Rough Riders, and they had a successful career with Rough Riders. You know what I'm saying? So I love what they did. You know, We Are the Streets, dope album. Yeah. Their last album, Filthy America, you know. Wait, let me make sure that was the name of it, because I'm zooming here. I'm sorry, but I'm zooming here. But yes, exactly. So, you know, their solo careers were good. You know, I mean, Jadakiss definitely, arguably one of the best. He definitely one of the best MCs out there that's still doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we had to give it to him. Styles P, a very creative artist. Yeah, creative. Yeah. I mean, he knows how to do albums. You know, he's a concept guy. Sheik Luch is he to himself. He has his own thing. I like the lane that he's in. I like the work that he does by himself. I like him over the group. I do. But Sheik definitely, you gotta respect him as an MC. Definitely gotta respect him as an MC and a good guy, man. A good guy. Good guy. So I love the Lox music, man. I really do. Let's get to the Fugees real quick. Okay. Wyclef, Lauryn Hill, Pras. Now we all know who the standout is. Lyrically, it's Lauryn Hill. But the mastermind of the group is Wyclef. I'm sure you agree with that, Cinema.
I agree, yeah. Yeah.
Lauryn Hill.
But he ain't a slouch either.
No, he's not a slouch lyrically. But come on now.
Yeah,
Lauryn
Hill.
Right.
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn
Triple
Hill.
threat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just you know, I'm not going to talk about the first album because Cinema did, but the second album, The Score.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know.
That's why I kind of love for that.
You know, that's a no skipper too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I want to mention a song that people really don't talk about, but it's one of the best songs on the album where they all lyrically killed it, and that's Zaylots.
Yes. Speak on that.
Wow.
Speak on that.
A lot of MCs tonight. Whoa. I pray that you listen to Jesus Christ. Oh Lord. I mean, that Lauryn, they all came off. All of them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh. And they did the only have eyes for you sample that la la la. You know, that joint was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I love the Fugees, man. It's, you know, they don't. It would be nice for them to do a reunion album, but they don't have to. They've made their mark on the world, and we love them forever for that. You know,
right?
And then we got to give respect to all of them because, you know, Wyclef, successful solo career. You know, Lauryn Hill, you know, the Miseducation. I mean, that's one of the best hip hop albums, hip hop and R&B, if we really want to go there. Right. I know that's been a debate.
Lauryn's on 3 straight classic albums.
Yes.
3 straight.
Yeah. You know,
and even though that Unplugged album is not everybody's taste, that thing is fire too.
Exactly. And then we gotta respect Pras for the run that he had with Ghetto Superstar. He had a run.
And he's still running in production.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All 3 of them have done well for themselves.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, they did. They did. Right.
Now.
Yeah.
Number 6, Onyx. Listen. Other than just slam, but you know, throw your guns. You know, all we got is us. These these evil streets.
Yeah.
Shut them down. I'm trying to go through the React. I'm trying to go through my favorite out of them is Sticky Fingers, but I'm a big Sunseas fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really love that dynamic. I just love, Last Days. Onyx has classic records.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and they're one of the first hip hop groups that I've ever heard as a kid. So they've always stuck with me. So I got to move on. Our time is kind of cutting it. So we got to go to number 5, Killer Army. Okay.
Killer Army, yes.
Well, you're gonna have
Sons
to
of Man.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me unpack this one because Killer Army is not going to be in everybody's top. Probably not everybody's top 20. Not because they're not good, but because maybe people haven't really been exposed to them.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
me being a Wu-Tang fan, because Killer Army is a Wu-Tang affiliated group. Okay. So me being a Wu-Tang fan is the reason why I'm exposed to Killer Army. So I'm gonna go ahead and just name them off. Fourth Disciple, an incredible producer, part of the Wu-Tang Killer Beast family. The production that he did on all of their albums, Silent Weapons, Quiet Wars, Dirty Weaponry, Fear, Love and War. I mean, listen. Knife Prince is RZA's brother. For those who don't know, then you got cats like Don Pacino, Beretta 9, Is Lord, Shogun Assassin, Killer Sin. Killer Sin. Let me just say something for those in the Wu-Tang hip hop community. I'll say specifically the Wu-Tang Killer Bees hip hop community. One of the biggest debates has been who's the best lyricist in the Wu-Tang Killer Bees family. A lot of times, Killer Sin's name comes up. He's usually in people's top 5. Killer Sin is an incredible lyricist with a beautiful delivery. His delivery is very similar to Raekwon in some ways, but he has his own. Incredible delivery. It's just what he says and how he delivers is so fluid. He's one of the most fluid lyricists I've ever heard. Him and Big Pun. It's just something about his lyrics. I gotta keep it going. We're gonna do that later with them. But okay.
Yeah, man.
This one here. I love these guys, man. Outkast.
Yeah.
I just love the creativity and the uniqueness of that group.
Yeah.
What they do as musicians, period. Yes, hip hop, but just as musicians, especially Andre 3000. The work that they done, their music has went through some I wouldn't say phases, but just some periods where they have elevated their sound. Each album they have sounds different. Each album.
Right.
They have the best, if not the best, as a duo, but one of the best duos that have the chemistry that they have. Their chemistry is some of the best. And I won't go through each album, but Aquemini really stuck out. That album really stuck out for me. I have so much respect for the Speaker Box and the Love Below album. The AT-Aliens album. Their first album. I mean, it's but Aquemini sticks out. That album was so great and undeniable. And that's a hip hop classic as well, widely recognized. A Tribe Called Quest. Okay, I'm gonna say what Cinema didn't say. So, you talked about Midnight Marauders, right? Right. That is a great album. Great album.
Oh yeah.
let's talk about, you said Bonita Applebum being a single, right?
Mhm.
Okay. One of their best singles historically, but I agree with you about that album. That album, although we liked them then, but if they just would have did that album and nothing else, they wouldn't be heard from. So that's my critique of them, but a healthy one. They've had a great career. They have. But if that People's Distinctive Travels would have been the only album they did, that wouldn't have worked. But then they elevated the Low End Theory.
Yeah,
You know, historical records on there. You know,
Right.
you know, Check the Rhyme. We was talking about Scenario.
Arguably their best
you know,
album and popular.
Yes.
You know,
That's,
it just
that's album everybody mentions.
exactly great, just great music, great material, experimental. There's some
Exactly.
experimental sound on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
we love that album. You know, stuff that they did after that. You know, they were going through their struggles as a group, but great career. And then that last album they did, you know what I'm saying? That was great. I mean, it's sad that we lost Fife, but I felt that album was a good way to kind of close the chapter of the Tribe Called Quest group as far as the work that they done.
Oh, man.
So I thought that was beautiful. Number 2, Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep. Yeah.
Okay. I have to keep it
Shook
real.
one.
I have to keep it real with everybody out there. Did I like their first album, Juvenile Hell? Nope. No, I didn't. But
Well, you already said that on the podcast previously too.
yes, I did. But from the Infamous on up, yes.
Yeah.
I love Mobb Deep. I love. There's a Staten Island Queens thing that we have. We discussed this on the show before.
Yeah.
We discussed this in the Nas episode, talking about the Lost Tapes too. There's something about, I don't know if people in Queens are familiar with this. Maybe they're not. If you're somebody from Queens and you don't frequent Staten Island, you're not going to know this. But one thing Staten Islanders love is Queens MCs. That is a huge pattern. I don't know why. I don't know. I ain't mad at it.
I
but-
cut school to pick up a Queens MC.
But we
remember?
love. There's something about there's something about Staten Islanders and us loving Queens MCs. There's something about Queens, people from Queens, who love some Staten Island hip hop.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that too. Don't think I don't know that. I know a lot of y'all in Queens love the Wu. A lot of y'all. That's not to say that Brooklyn and the Bronx don't. I know that because we know RZA, Jizza, and Old Dirty and Master Killer are from Brooklyn. We know that.
Yeah.
But they put Staten Island on the map. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Right.
So half of the clan is from Brooklyn. We get it, but Shaolin was what they claimed to fame was. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I love Mobb Deep, Infamous, you know, Hell on Earth. Whew. Another banger album. Murder Music. Oh, I love Murder Music.
Yeah.
You know, Blood Money, pretty decent. America's Nightmare. There's some good stuff on there. Infamy. There's some good stuff on there. For the most part, Mobb Deep has been consistent with singles. I'll give him that. I wouldn't say that all of their albums have been start to finish good, but that last album they did before Prodigy died was great. It was basically, you know, like a rehab. It was basically trying to go back to the original sound. And I love that. I love what they did. I love the work that they did. I love Havoc. I love Prodigy. I love that. Okay, Wu-Tang Clan.
Of course.
Okay. They're the reason why I do music. There's somebody else, there's a reason for that too. I'll name him when we get to our top rappers. But Wu-Tang Clan is the reason why I love hip hop. Like, in love. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's something about, there's a sense of pride that I have being from Staten Island and listening to those brothers. you know, and me still being a fan while everybody talks down on them, and me still loving them, but also being their biggest critic when I need to, because I love them so much. You know, you know, Enter the 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Forever, the W.
Wow.
You know, Iron Flag, 8 Diagrams was a very different sound, but as I listen to it today, I can still take from that. You know what I'm saying? There's some good stuff there. Also, you know, a better I do wish A Better Tomorrow and The Saga Continues were better albums. I do. But there are some good things I can still take from them, and I still love them as a group. And even if they only did like 4 albums, 3 albums, they would still be the best group of all, to me, my best group of all time. Also, this is a group where I love every member, all of them, every last one of them. I think they're all uniquely talented, all of them. Yeah. Even the ones that people say is, you know, I think this one's the weak link and that one's the weak link. Okay, I get that because I've been in that conversation to say that too. But that weak link that people may say is better than people's strong links. You know what I'm saying?
In other groups.
And Wu-Tang Clan is the group that I'll put my money on. They will flame anybody. Anybody. Don't nobody want to smoke with them. You know what I'm saying?
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing. No.
Exactly. Wu-Tang Clan are my hip hop champions, man.
Yeah,
I love them. I love them. Every last one of them. And, you know, we'll break more down into that. Zaccheus, I got to get to you.
Let's go.
Yeah. For top 10 hip hop groups. Okay. Number 10, The Far Side.
Drop.
Oh, yeah. EPMD.
Yes.
Number 9. Number 8, Third Base.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Number 7, The Fugees. Number 6, Main Source.
Yep.
Number 5, Gangstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, Tribe Called Quest. Number 3, Black Moon. Number 2, Brand Nubians.
Yeah.
And number 1, Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get to the breakdown, so there's 2 I gotta ask.
Yeah.
You have Black Moon. So you have Tribe as 4. Black Moon is 3.
Black Moon, yeah. Black Moon is 3, yeah.
Okay, let me make sure I make that correction. Okay. All right, go ahead, Zaccheus. Do a breakdown of how you got this list.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know, I've over the, you know, growing up listening to hip hop in the 80s, 90s, and from the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. That's where I fell in love with hip hop. I fell in love with hip hop since oh my gosh, 85, 80. I would say 85, 84. Yeah, when I really started really loving it. And then after a while, when groups like The Far Side, you know, and I didn't even know I think later on, like in the 90s, in the mid 90s, I found out they were from California. I didn't even know they were from California.
Yeah, because it didn't matter.
Yeah, at that time, it didn't matter. Yeah. But when I heard the song "Keep on Passing Me By,"
yeah.
You know, and
classic
like,
hip hop record.
It just brought the uniqueness of the group.
Yes.
You know, when they go, you know, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They broke. I mean, you know, and can't keep running away.
Yeah. Run.
That that had me like really.
Rest in peace, Amani.
Oh yeah.
Oh, money, yeah, man.
Yeah, Cinema. You saw them in concert not too long ago.
Yeah, the 20th anniversary. They came through Philly, and I was in the video.
That was
that
dope.
big fat guy with the Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, that album.
I saw them in the show back then. I saw the 20th. We miss Amani, but the dude who did the stuff for Amani killed it.
Yeah,
so it was hot.
Yeah, Amani. Yeah. I can't believe that guy is gone, but still, it's like yeah, and I had to do like a research to find out he was dead because I at one time I didn't even know he passed. You know, I was like, oh wow,
because it wasn't really announced. That I found out late too.
yeah, I found out really late, and I'm like, huh, what happened?
Yeah.
Like nobody said nothing. Really?
They didn't say nothing. It was not even broadcast. But you know, past, yeah. So
his second album production by Dilla too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really embraced him with those joints and everything, you know. But yeah, Bizarre Ride to Fireside was, that's my. Yeah, it's classics. Like I remember that since the early '90s. Listen to the Fire. I thought their style was unique. They did the way they did the videos was unique. You know that style of doing the videos, music videos.
Yes, very creative. Hanging upside down. And she keeps passing me by, and drop going backwards. You know, it's just unique stuff. Do. Oh, that's the Yo MTV Raps era.
Yeah, exactly. Yo MTV Raps era. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Zaccheus.
Can't keep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which was a classic joint. I said I had to like. They played it when I played it. I was like, man, I wish I had to because I back then in '92. Cassettes were like you heard it. You heard a record on Yo MTV Raps. You heard a song and you heard a group. You look for that cassette.
Right. Exactly.
You look for that cassette. You're like, I gotta get this good to Fireside. So I get the Fireside props a whole lot. And EPMD. That's EPMD. That's number 9. EPMD. Man, their first joint, I was popping my head. I remember when I was young.
Yeah.
The very first joint.
You know what?
Like, wow.
I have to say this. Now, I'm the youngest on this show.
Yeah.
I love y'all two perspective because you guys are born the same year.
Yeah.
So you guys' list has a lot to do with the time that you grew up in. And my list is a reflection from the time that I grew up in, but also inspired by the era that you guys come from. So this is very unique for us to talk about our favorites because your favorites are my favorites too, but they just show up, like we said off air, they show up maybe in a different number from mine, but I love these people. So I just want people as listeners to understand that, you know, there's an age gap here, but still a respectable one to be close enough in terms of hip hop taste.
Yeah.
So this is another reason for this podcast that I want to say real quickly. Yeah. There's a perspective that I don't have that these two brothers have. And I think it's a good balance. You know, other than us just being all friends and brothers anyway, because I know some people are like, well, y'all cool anyway. But podcast or no podcast, I love these brothers. But one of the main reasons why this podcast was created was to get a perspective from my generation and their generation. And this is what leads up to this episode right now. You know, one of the visions I have for this show is happening right now in this episode. I'm gonna get back to you in a minute, Zaccheus. I need to say something real quick because we're gonna run out of time. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when we get to our favorite MCs and producers, that's gonna take time, and I'm actually gonna do this now. That's gonna take time. So we're gonna do a series. We're gonna have to turn this into a series. So we'll finish up with our rap groups, and we'll do our honorable mentions of the rap group at the end of the show, and then we'll get into our top rappers, our top MCs and producers next episode. All right, Zaccheus, continue.
Yeah, so EPMD, what you're saying? The joint, which I bought my head like I was like, yo, I had to stream the joint. This is the joint.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got the chill. I mean, these joints is like memorable, you know, for EPMD, funk, man. You know,
funk with it because nobody was.
And you know what I liked about them is like it made a series from their album, Strictly Business, Back to Business. They made a series with their records and their albums, man. And it's like you listen to the tunes, man. It's like Parish and Eric Sermon, they just got that flow. That flow that's like, oh man, that they got that. They put that funk in that flow. It's like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they from that boom bap era,
right?
So it's like it's like tunes that you would listen to. They're timeless because you can listen to it. You can listen to an EPM record today and still bop to it, man.
Right.
Timeless. Timeless. And bigger for and from that last record that Eric Sermon came out, he still got it.
Vernia,
brother. Yeah, he still got it.
He does.
Now,
yeah,
and I'm loving that.
I'm
loving the new.
He still got
record.
it.
He does.
Next one.
This is an interesting one. Get into third base.
Well, third base. Step into the AM. Okay, this is back then. When in New York City.
Go ahead, Cinema. Go ahead. Zaccheus, continue.
Yeah, back then in New York City, when you guys were living back then in New York City, during the golden era, the radio station 98.7 FM used to play
Kiss.
Kiss. Kiss used to call Kiss. Used to play a lot of hip hop on Saturday nights,
especially through Red Alert's programming.
Yeah, especially DJ Red Alert. Big up to him. The Poo Man, big up DJ Red Alert. Yep. And I used to hear third base. I'm like, oh, who's these dudes?
Yeah.
And then I heard there's a product of the environment. Yo, man, I said, yo, I have to get a mix from them, man, because third base. And then their videos, the gas face, it's like it's like classic. Boom bap, golden era hip hop, third base, and if you look at them, because I mean, when I first heard third base on the radio, at first I didn't think they were white dudes. I didn't think that at first. I didn't think so. I didn't think so until I seen the video, and I'm like, wait a minute, third base. Why? I was like, oh what? Oh okay. Then I see MC Serge growing a high top. I'm like, oh okay. MC I'm like, okay, he's dancing. Cause I said these dudes got rhythm, man. I mean, they brought Nas out, but they got this. Listen, I know. And then I seen but what one of my favorite joints from third base is a product of the environment. I thought that's
one of their best singles. Well, yes. It might be their top one. When you think about it,
yes,
but
yes.
I think it's probably their top record.
That is a classic record.
Well, that and Live at the Barbecue. I mean, I don't want to leave that out. I mean, obviously.
Before you move on, I got to mention one album track where they sample Spinning Wheel, Sons of Third Base. Oh my gosh, with the stymy thing. It's the first track on the Cactus album. Go look it up, kids. Okay. My time is over. I just had to mention that.
Definitely. Number 7. The production is crazy for third base, though.
Yes, ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Crazy. That's my 7.
Crazy.
It's the Fugees, man.
Yeah.
La la la. I still remember that till let me tell you something. This is what I'm talking about. When it comes to melody. Because melody that you can remember from, Fugees make melodies in the music that you could remember from 20 years later. You still could be singing the melody. It's like
yes,
yes,
you make a great point. People, people are still playing Ready or Not. Like you know what I'm saying, like.
Here I come.
Killing me softly and all of that, and just
exactly timeless classics that don't get old.
Everything, man.
They don't get old. It was a perfect combination. And the thing that the story is that they made the records at the basement, in the basement, and not a state of the art studio, but a nice a basement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Fuji La, Ready or Not. It's just the list continues with the Fugees, man. I mean, I had to put them on the list because I said the Fugees gotta get on this list.
Oh yeah.
That's why I had to leave room because I knew we
Yeah,
all
and
gonna have that.
Yes.
number six, main source.
Oh my
Okay.
God, yes.
Unpack that one because I haven't.
Main source. Let me tell you something.
Please unpack that. You don't hear that name too much.
Yeah. Main source, Large Professor had two DJs.
See,
yeah,
that was the only.
You said the magic word. You said Large Professor.
Large Professor had two DJs, and then knocking at the front door is a banger.
Classic. That's on my playlist right now.
Till this day, I'm looking at the front door. It's always like main sources will be that's like the signature song right there for me. And you know that song right there. Too. You just mentioned something that you're faking the funk. You're faking. That's a classic record right there
extra
too.
Hard stuff. You're probably a punk.
When that came out, I mean, when Faking the Funk came out, it's like you had no choice. You had no choice but to bop your head. You had no choice but
White Man Can't Jump soundtrack. Yeah.
Exactly, and I had to buy that record. I bought the cassette. I bought the cassette because of them joints. A friendly game of baseball was cool too.
Yes. Oh my God.
I bought the cassette. I said I had to get main source, man. This is bumping in my radio at the time. You know your portable radio had the cassette player.
Right. My brother got that one, and I just we shared the rooms.
Yeah, man.
We had to split money. He said, I said, I'm going to buy main source. He said, nah, I got it. Go get something else. I go get something else then. And so we had all our tapes in the middle of the room, and we used to listen to. That's one album.
Exactly.
Main source is a music education for me.
Man, let me tell you something. Production-wise, main source
exactly.
was monsters.
Because that's one of the producers who did Nas's first album.
See,
yes.
Halftime.
Come
on. Ain't hard to tell. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Number five is Gangstar.
Yes, I like that.
The Guru, Gangstar. Oh man.
What's one of your favorite records? I have to ask this question. What's one of your favorite records that you could think of right now from Gangstar?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The very first time I heard "These Are the Words I Manifest," I was feeling that song. The big, that was my joint. And then, you know what? And then later on, in the late '90s, my Steve, that was fire. That was fire too.
Yeah,
that was fire too. He had a joint that was fire too. I'm trying to think of the other joints too, but those joints right there.
From the ex girl to the next girl.
To the next girl. He had a lot of fire joints, but the production, DJ Premier's production was crazy with Gangstar's voice.
Yes. And his scratching as a DJ.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, DJ.
I mean, they were the perfect complement for each other.
Yes.
Because Guru had that saucy, jazzy voice.
Yes, he did.
So he knew how to make a hard beat for him. He knew how to make a jazzy beat for him. It was just Gangstar. Then you talk about the song with Nice and Smooth, DeWick.
You know what?
That's just a boom, right. Everyone uses that beat.
Yo, let me tell you something.
Cut that together. Exactly.
Let me tell you something.
I praise the Lord and keep the faith.
Every summer. For 5 summers.
5 summers straight. That song came out in 94.
Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I messed up the line. You know the line.
No, I know the line. Yeah,
because I praise the Lord and keep the faith.
892, right in the debate. 1 year later, you know what I'm saying? It's just let me tell you something. That joint It was a summer anthem. The Dweek. That was that was a summer anthem right there, man.
You know, Ralph McDaniels was about to play it too. As soon as that and Will Smith. Here comes Ralph.
And Mass Appeal, songs like Mass Appeal. Yeah, just to get and I used to love this joint
album,
too.
Mass Appeal.
Well, I was gonna say that album.
Do you remember?
That's what Primo and Rock are the reason why I got an MP3. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't. Shamik. Cinema. Fifth.
Same person.
Same person. Go ahead, Zaccheus.
Do you remember the joint Just to Get a Rep?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm talking about.
See.
Oh, just to get it. Oh man, I'm telling you, those are the joints that make me just gravitate towards Gangstar.
And Gangstar albums have been consistent.
Yes.
You can't name me a whack Gangstar album. You can't.
Man.
You can't. You just can't. You might like one more than the other, but
it doesn't exist.
You can't. Exactly. A trash one does not exist. You can't tell me
that's when if you call something whack, that'll be like that's whack for Gangstar, not because it's whack.
Exactly.
That's comparing it to something else they did.
Mm-hmm.
But please, by no means, it is nothing that came through that group whack.
Yes.
You're talking classics. You're talking one of my favorite producers all time.
Yeah.
And you know, I came up with the jazzy style first. So
oh yes,
a lot of that influence was from that too, because of who I listened to. That and Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
CL Smooth.
Shoot. All right, go ahead. Continue, Zaccheus. I'm sorry.
Number 4, Tribe Called Quest.
Yep.
Yeah, we all have this in common. Yeah.
Yep, Tribe Called Quest. I always did like relaxation.
Oh.
Yeah, and I love, and of course, we all love Scenario.
Yeah,
of course. That and the remix.
And the remix was hot.
Remix was fire too.
The remix was fire too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I literally have that both of them on a private playlist. The same list.
Remember who got the jazz? Who got the Come on, man. I thought that's let me tell you something. That's those tunes right there. If you came up around that time, that boom bap era time, it made you fall in love with hip hop all over again.
Jesus.
It did make you fall in hip hop all over again.
I want to go back to the 90s, man. Oh my God,
exactly.
I miss the 90s.
Tribe Called Quest. I'm on a world tour. Come
with
on.
Muhammad, my man.
My man. Oh my God, and Bonita Applebaum. You gotta put that was the first song. The first time I heard Tribe Called Quest was I Lost My Wallet in El Segundo.
El Segundo, yeah.
I got that together. I'm like, wait a minute, what kind of group is this? I'm like, the beat was fire. Lord have mercy. He got out of it. He got the
yep.
Okay. But they came with some. Tribe Called Quest is timeless.
Yeah.
Classics.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I would say arguably Tribe is in a hip hop debate. They have to be in the top 10 of all time. If you're just talking about rap groups, period, they belong. Right. They belong on any list.
They hit all of our lists.
Yep.
Yeah. I was undisputed. Undisputed. They are undisputed, man. And I love the tune called Stressed Out. I always love that tune.
Yeah.
You know what it means to be stressed out.
Classics. You talk about classics.
That beat is ridiculous.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's in my instrumentals right here on my hard drive. Fifth note,
check the rhyme, y'all.
You know we got beats.
Check the rhyme. Back
in the days in the Boulevard of Linden, we used to crack Yeah.
You on point five all the time.
You on point five? You on point five? Oh, man.
You're
ready.
says, I can do this all day.
Rest in peace to Five Doors.
Yes,
man.
rest in peace, Five Dog, man. Oh my God, this
On
is
stage, call him Dynamite.
You know.
I heard that cinema.
My number 3 is Black Moon.
Okay, now
number 3 is Black
Oh my
Moon.
God!
Unpack that because we didn't have that in our 10. So you had that in your 10. So
Yeah.
Unpack that. Speak more on Black Moon, man.
Yeah. Who got the props?
Of course.
Man,
Of course.
Come on.
Of course.
I mean, who could not bop your head to that? When I first came out in the early 90s, I was like, yo, who is this?
That's on my playlist too.
Yeah, no, I was like, wait a minute.
That's one of the one of the best hip hop songs of all time. Like that's and that beat.
Yeah, man.
And that dude didn't take 16s. He took like 32s and 48s on verses. So that.
Yeah,
man. It just.
But he was killing it. I'm gonna let you know.
Who got Black Moon. It just came out with some hits, man. I mean, especially that one. Who got the props was like, that's the first song I heard, and I'm like, yo, that's fire. Because I heard it on Video Music Box. That was fire. I was like, oh wow. Then how many MCs must
get dissed?
I'm like, oh wow.
See you naming them. You are naming them.
That's why we all make a list. So nobody gets missed. Number 1, I'm gonna give Black Moon the props.
And Black Moon was in my head too. Like as I'm writing my list down, I'm like, where does Black Moon go? Where does Black Moon go? But
right, because it's too many.
Yeah.
And then what's that?
Don't front. I know you got your open.
Oh, of course. Come on now.
The original and the remix. Both versions of both. And then the jazz remix. I got the instrumental to both of them too. That's another song. Because that jazz remix,
Word.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that mix I like. Don't front. I know you got your open. Oh, man, it's crazy.
Let's talk about track 2 on that first album. That's not, man, what was it, 2 or 3? I can't even say it. Talk, but they ain't got, but they ain't my. I'm the top gonna let somebody call the book more. Just call it DOA. That beat is. I've been trying to remake that beat for my whole life, and then when I start making something, I'm like, delete. I'm making that beat.
Oh,
I'm buck 'em down, buck 'em down.
Oh,
buck 'em down. Yeah.
Especially the
that too. Exactly. When you love so much, you find yourself, nah, this is a copy. This ain't something out of me.
Right.
I better stop.
Well, because both versions of that was fire.
That beat,
both versions.
That beat was back then. That beat was a classic.
Yeah.
That even a reggae artist called Megan Band had to sing over.
Because it was underground.
Yeah.
The first song had blown.
Mm-hmm.
The original one.
Yep.
Then they made a remix when they didn't have to, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah. No, you're right. You make a good point.
Oh,
you make a great point. It's like yo, this was already lit, and now you got this one too. It's almost like people
it's not fair.
It's not fair because now you had to decide, and you didn't want to decide what was your favorite version. Yeah. So here's the thing. Yeah, but that's an era. The era that you're speaking of is dead now. That is an era. Yeah. You're talking about the era of remixes.
Right.
Where the original and the remix went head to head. That era is dead.
Just like Method's All I Need remixes went head to head
with
his original version.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't even bring that up.
Exactly.
Then RZA messed with it again. and flipped it again. And you're like, what? How you made the first fire beat? How are you gonna flip it again? And then they did the obvious remix. I mean, all the remixes for that song was hot.
Yeah. Yeah, but that era, that you know what, we'll have to save that for another show, remixes. But we got to get into that.
We got to make a list of what we're gonna do. Cause
right.
Zaccheus.
Go ahead.
And Brand Nubians. Okay.
Yes.
At number 2, Brand Nubian, your number 2.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
One for all Brand Nubians.
I knew you were gonna do that.
One
That's
Brand Nubians.
Mm-hmm.
That's their classic track.
Now, Zaccheus, I've known this about you since I've met you, so I'm not surprised they made it to your list and it's high because I know you love them.
Yeah,
I know you do.
That's.
Yeah, Brand Nubians. Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of a shock they made my list than Zaccheus'
Not really, because I know you're a Grand Pooba fan, Cinema.
Oh, of course.
I've been knowing that. And I know you love Sadat. I know you like Lord Jamar. You know what I'm saying?
I love them too.
That's
that
one of my
was
groups.
fire though.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, let's talk. You know what? Let's actually talk about Brand Nubian real quick. Let's talk about the balance. Okay, there's a particular balance with these MCs. Okay. Okay, so we would say that that Grand Pooba brought more of he brought like a style. Like there was a style that he has by himself.
Yes.
And he brought that, to the group. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we would say that Lord Jamar and Sadat X complement each other as far as the conscious tip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Grand Pooba was conscious too. Right. Yes, he was too, especially because you heard that verse he had on Sunshine.
Right. Oh yeah, Sunshine.
You know what I'm saying? That verse is memorable. That record, period. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you know, these all of them can hold their own by themselves, but just together they were a unique hip hop group.
They were unique. At that time, they were very unique.
Very unique, man.
Yeah, they brought that conscious, that it was a 5%.
Yeah, they were.
They brought that conscious vibe to hip hop because at the time before them there was the X Clan, but at the time they brought that conscious. It was a
X Clan. Cool. X Clan didn't have the music. No disrespect to X Clan.
No,
but they didn't have the musical approach that Brand Nubian had.
No, they didn't. Yeah. They didn't. No disrespect to them. It's just that at the time, Brand Nubians brought. I mean, Brand Nubians was so cool that the message, and that's what's missing today. The message brought across, but also it was a message, but also you could bop your head to it. You can vibe to it. You can enjoy it and vibe to it and bop your head to it. Because,
it was people.
Because although it reached people, but although they had you can dance, you was able to bop your head, you were able to dance to it. Back then, it just brought that vibe compared to the X Clan where this, it was just Brand Nubians just brought that at that time it played on the radio. It got radio play. At that time, Slow Down was commercial, and it had a message to it. It was commercial. You don't get like much hip hop songs today, but
you gotta love me or leave me alone.
You know what I'm saying? With a message, and you're vibing to it, and it's hot.
Exactly.
Oh, but the message on that song got slept on. That song specifically,
big time.
You know why? Because the vibe was so good on that record, but what was said on that record went over people's heads.
Right, but that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Lyricism and something, but you can connect to it on all levels. That's what great music does.
Yeah.
Someone connects to it on all levels. Brand Nubian had that. And they were ahead of their time. And they paved the way for groups that had different styles of MCs. Because back in the days before that, everybody was trying to sound the same in a group.
Exactly.
Yeah, my first number one is Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay, now me and you have this in common because they were both our number ones. Explain why they were your number one.
Well, off the back, you gotta catch me. What impressed me with the Wu-Tang Clan was, remember, I'm from the era of the 80s and 90s. So I heard Protect Your Neck back in 92. When I heard the rough
cut.
Yeah,
I remember this conversation.
The tape version.
Yeah.
The tape version.
The tape version they were selling. The original cut.
Your neck. And,
Yeah.
and I heard certain clips of Protect Your Neck, like certain my neighborhood Spider-Man tick, and I heard like certain clips of him, like, and I told Jamal at the time, I said, who was this? Who's this? He said, oh, that's the Wu. They coming out from Park Hill. I said, what? They have a rap group from Staten Island coming out. That's making the buzz. He said, yeah, man. And I said, and how much? And he told me the number of people in this group. I said, what?
Yeah.
How you gonna put
9 unheard of
on a record? How you gonna put all these artists on a? That's gonna be a long record.
Unheard of.
It worked.
And then
Yes, it worked.
Video, music, box.
Yes.
Exactly. The video.
When I see Protect Your Neck, I got excited. I was like, wow! I got excited. At that day, I got excited because I'm like, oh my goodness. Protect Your Neck from Staten Island is on video music box. Wow. And I said, yo, I had to bop my head. I fell in love with them. As soon as I heard Protect Your Neck, I fell in love with Wu-Tang already. As soon as I heard Protect Your Neck. And I said, man, that's the trait of a good hip hop group, timeless hip hop group. As soon as I heard Protect Your Neck, I fell in love with it.
That was all over New York radio before they even had a contract with a major label.
See?
Yo.
And I'm like, wow. And then Cream. And then it did. In 1993, I believe, 94.
Yeah, 93.
HOD. Man, that summer. That's summer of 90. Summer of 90.
Yeah.
Summer of 93. METHOD, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that early 90s, woo, everybody was claiming to be from Staten Island.
Oh, hold on. Say that again. That again.
At the time we were growing up in 93, everybody was claiming to be from Staten Island at the time.
Thank you.
That's how much
Thank you.
Wu-Tang Clan
Scream that a little louder for the people in the back.
That's how much impact the Wu-Tang Clan had on hip hop at that time. Everybody was claiming to be from Shaolin. Yeah, I'm from Shaolin. No, I'm from
the forgotten borough.
Well, this is what they'll do, because even Ghost said this on Bill Ford Cuba Links. He said once you heard Wu out of the blue, your family's from Shaolin. He's right, because I remember when I ran into other people and I was very young back then, obviously in 93, 94. I remember people saying, "Oh, where you from, Staten Island?" "Oh, I got family out there."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was true with my family.
Right. Well, of course, with us. Of course. But what I'm saying is people from other boroughs, because our brother here, Zaccheus. Right. Our brother here, Zaccheus, he wasn't born in Staten Island originally.
Right.
Nah.
He was born in Brooklyn. But most of his years is on the island. I get it. But I would say from my perspective, because I'm Staten Island born, Staten Island Hospital. I can tell you what hospital I was born in.
Staten Island Hospital when it was on Castleton Avenue.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So
before it was South.
I remember people from other parts of New York and Jersey. They would say, "Where you from?" And I say, They'd be like, "Yo, I got a cousin out there. I got so and so out there," and they probably don't even be telling the truth. But that's what happened at the time when Wu was running things, running it.
Word, facts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
I mean, audio school, I got mad props. Like I was in NYU when they were making fun of me, and all of a sudden, yo, you think we could come out and chill? Facts.
People started wearing the Wu wear.
Oh yeah, come on.
Wearing
I did.
It was just
I had Wu. Hold on. Let's talk about something that people from Staten Island might not know. What did Wu wear have on Victory Boulevard?
Man,
Come on, say it.
A store.
Thank you.
They had a store, a clothing store, Yeah.
Right. A lot of people don't know that. Now that's against the Green Barbershop, but before that, that was the Wu Wear store.
The Wu store.
Mm-hmm.
I remember walking in the store.
I shopped in that store, and not only I just came in there, and I was with my boy, and I chilled up in there.
Yeah,
it was closed.
Well, because every now and then you would see a couple of them up there. There were times when I went up there, Meth was up there, or Dirty was up there. You know what I'm saying? Deck was up there, Master Killer was there. You know what I'm saying? If they would be there every now and then, you would see them. You know what I'm saying?
And that was when I was ghosting.
Yeah.
And we won't talk nothing about that. So people knew me from ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
This was an excellent conversation, man.
But that's what. Yeah, let's do our honorables so we can. Get
Yes. Okay.
I won't go hardcore.
Okay. Zaccheus, because we ended with you, Zaccheus. Can you, if you have 3 honorable mentions as far as your rap groups that didn't make your top 10, but they probably make your top 20, mention the 3 honorable mentions of top rap.
Okay. KRS Boogie Down Productions.
Okay.
Boogie Down Productions.
Okay.
And then I would say after Boogie Down Productions, I would say Leaders of the New School.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I would say after Leaders of the New School, I would say let me see, because I was thinking of this group, but I was like, okay.
They on the fringe.
They were
like a college team.
Yeah, college team. I would say, shoot, I'm a just very old, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna just go with Nice and Smooth.
Good.
I'm gonna go with Nice and Smooth because you know, the only reason why I say Nice and Smooth, I mean, they came with the little rhymes, but they just had that boom bap feeling to them too, you know.
Yeah.
At that time, you know. So
nice.
I'll go with them. Yeah.
That's a nice one. Honorable mentions for me. This was a tough one. It's actually I would say one of them is Naughty by Nature. I love them. I've always loved them. You know, they was always one of my favorites growing up. But they just didn't make my top 10 today, you know, but definitely Naughty is an honorable mention for me. Let's see my other one. Oh God. I actually should have wrote this down. That sucks. Who did Gangstar. Gangstar is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Gangstar is definitely an honorable mention. You know, just I just love the sound. The sound alone is why I love Gangstar, you know. Number 3. It's not really an order, but I guess my third honorable mention would be oh God, this is hard. This is pretty difficult because I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Well, you're gonna be.
I know.
And no matter what, that's why I wrote 3 down, and I said I'm just stick with it.
Come on, I need to just hurry up and get it out. Who are they? I would probably say who, and I wanted them to make the list. I would say Def Squad.
Oh, Def Squad, yeah.
You know, because the combination of Eric Sermon, Keith Murray, and Redman, even though they've only done one album together, you know, which is messed up. You know but that El Nino album was crazy.
Yeah,
that was a
ridiculous combination.
That was a crazy album, you know. But Def Squad only really had one album. They only really had. Now, did they do a whole bunch of songs together throughout their career? Of course they did. Of course they did.
Cosmic slop.
but they only really had one studio album, you know.
Yeah.
So that's my 3 honorable mentions as far as groups that didn't make it to my top 10. Cinema, you go ahead.
Okay. Me and Zaccheus had nice and smooth. That was my
nice. Okay.
gosh.
Yeah.
I wanted them to make it so bad. And it was like, oh, and then here's another one. A group that really, like, from the West, that really influenced my style.
Mm-hmm.
Souls of Mischief.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That album, and then the album that wasn't commercially successful, but after that, everything they dropped, even for years, they've been dropping albums for years. That's like you and Mobb Deep. That's a group I'm following.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been following, and when they drop something, I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
And so
93
Souls of Mischief is right. Souls of Mischief's like that because I follow them in hieroglyphics to this day. To this day.
Yeah.
And then one group, and you know why, and you will definitely know why. Trends of Culture. They didn't have enough. They didn't have enough enough material for me to merit them on the top 10. But Trends of the Culture, and you know who came out of that.
Go into that more. That's an unpopular group right now. Yeah, so go into that more, please.
Yeah, but Pharaoh Monk, and he wasn't Pharaoh Monk then. Hold up. Let me pull up the name so I'll be accurate.
Yeah.
Organized Confusion.
Organized Confusion. Yeah.
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 But Organized Confusion. Yeah.
Pharaoh Monk.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Oh, Culture, but then I got into Trends of Culture, which came out before them. And they were on Mad Sounds.
Yeah.
And so we talked about the Pharaoh Monk where he came from on another podcast.
Oh yes.
Another group that wasn't popular.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, Discos, you don't even have the group name? Because I don't want to say them wrong. You know, you're trying to do stuff from memory, and you're gonna hurt them.
Yeah.
Okay, Mad Sounds, Motown. Okay. I hadn't heard from Nasty, M.O.L. or Grapevine back then.
Right.
So, but, you know, Lord Finesse had some production on this album. Valley of the Skins and stuff. This is because Organized Confusion was that, but I said I'd rather mention Trends because everyone knows Organized, especially if they listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
But Trends, you know, Trends of Culture only had Valleys of the Skins in a few singles.
Right.
But this was a group that, you know, that influenced me heavy, even though they didn't have an impact, but they didn't have enough material for me to put them in the top 10. And so my brother Kenneth put me onto this group.
Yeah.
And this isn't a group I found on my own. He put me on the Trends and he put me on the Organized Confusion.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too far, you know.
So your honorable, I'm sorry, I might have zoned out. So your honorable mentions, I'm sorry.
Smooth.
Yeah, Nice and Smooth.
Souls of Mischief.
And Trends of Culture. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
And so I brought up the other thing to just tell you what era they were in.
Right. I got you.
Because Trends of Culture didn't even do a full album. They did an EP.
Right.
Like everybody used to come out with EPs. Like that's how the Beat Nuts came out. Then they did the album.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah.
And then they made Noise. They had the video. The EP was cool. And then, you know, Organized Confusion actually took their sonic space for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love Organized Confusion. But definitely. I wanted to mention Trends for a reason, you know, to give some props to people who don't get light. But, you know, they influenced me. And, you know, when we get to MCs next week and other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
We're going to definitely roll it.
Exactly. So This was part 1. Part 2 continues next episode. We're gonna get up out of here. We went a little over what we usually do on average, but this had to happen. We've been waiting a long time for a subject. I actually want to thank what's the name of the podcast? The Brew Podcast. I actually want to give them props. Because they actually they influenced this topic. They definitely influenced this topic. I want to shout out to Joe Button and the Joe Button Podcast family. All the people who contribute to that podcast. Thank them, because this was one of the reasons why I had to talk about this, because this is definitely a hip hop discussion that I felt like we had before, but we just didn't give them numbers. You know what I'm saying? We didn't give them numbers. We talked about these rappers, these MCs, these groups all the time in certain hip hop discussions we've had in prior episodes. But to actually give them numbers actually was good. So we're gonna get up out of here. Zaccheus, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at Zaccheus B73 on Instagram. Zaccheus B73 on Instagram. Also on Facebook, you can reach me at Wade Zaccheus Bacchus on Facebook. Also on Twitter, Wade Bacchus 2 at Wade Bacchus 2 on Twitter. Bless.
Right. Cinema, where can they reach you?
Cinemascapes on Twitter, Cinemascapes and Cinemascapes Music on Instagram, Cinemascapes Music on Facebook, and Cinemascapes on Game System.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up. Once again, shout outs to I just want to say their name right. The Brew Podcast. I want to give respect where respect is due. The Brew Podcast had a top 50 list that went trending. Some say they put names where they was for clout. That's not for me to decide, but I will thank them for putting this out there and getting people talking at a time of hip hop where we actually need this discussion.
Yes.
All right. You can get at me at the Fifth General on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right. So we're gonna get up out of here. Your host, the Fifth General, Cinemascapes, Zaccheus. We're gonna see y'all on the next episode of the Round Circle. Peace out.
Peace.
Yeah.